Well, there's so much, you know. I mean, again, my history started, I didn't know that when I came to America that I was going to be knee-deep in all of this kind of thing, you know. But my philosophy is always to come to another country and do as the Romans do, you know. So I wanted to learn about American history, and I found out that, you know, we always know in Ireland that the Scots-Irish, you know, fought in your War of Independence. I also found out subsequently that America is famous for losing the wars it wins. And that, you know, the British crown, and I'm not talking about British people here, but I'm talking about the oligarchy that's preying over them, you know, realized that it got its ass kicked in a situation of war. It couldn't take America with force of arms. It tried it, and it
so it did it through roundtable groups.
Exactly, and Cecil Rhodes and these people have been my study for, you know, as long as I can remember. And that's where I came in, not just studying the Fabian movements, not just studying these Masonic orders, you see, but also studying in their context. I suddenly start realizing these people are operating in America. So my message was to get people out of the political pigsty and say, your troubles are not, you know, listen, America, your problems are not necessarily within the political sphere. That's just an effect. That's not the cause. And then try to point out this surreptitious war of attrition that's been fought on American shores for the destruction of America. That was the main point, you know, when I got to America, started to go into the public eye and make this be known, because, as I said...
And then people will say, well, Masons founded America, but that's the whole point. Build, destroy, build, destroy, build, destroy,
yeah.
Order out of chaos. And you've got the lower orders that weren't aware. You've also had some changes in Masonry. And George Washington, as you know, came out and spoke out against those groups that were coming in and infiltrating it and changing it. But really, he was just breaking through and finding out about higher levels to it. But we have to also understand that you know, there was the secret destiny, as you know, of the United States, where they talked about in the 1600s coming here and founding this as the new Atlantis. So
that's right.
So there's the argument, you know, it's always dual, yin-yang. You know,
well, you're right on the ball, and it's great to talk to somebody like this who knows that before the official founding of America, these Templars and their agents were already ensconced in the country.
Yeah, they had a bad day yesterday on the 13th anniversary. That was the...
That's right. And we have, you know, the thing that President John Adams, President George Washington, they did start to, you know, whistleblow what was going on.
Yeah, Adams had he had the anti-Masonic party that came up later.
That's right. But they did it from being insiders first. First, they hobnobbed with Adam Weishaupt and his cronies. They hobnobbed with the agents of people like Charles de Lorraine, you know, from the province of Lorraine in France and the Grand Orient Freemasonry of France. And then they started to realize, wait a minute, this is a bunch of Luciferianism here. It's not right for America. And they sounded the warning, you know. In a modern context, though, these people who are working for the old British system, you know, who operate, people got to realize that these people have worked through the Russell Trust, they've worked through the Skull and Bones, they worked through the Knights of Columbus, they worked through Scottish Rite Freemasonry. They are alive and well in the American context to take America down because it was too big to take down with a gun to the head situation. You know, that kind of thing. That jackboot system does work in a small context.
Okay, we'll get into that. I also want to get into the hierarchy